Good morning, guys. So this is take two. Something went wrong with my previous live stream about 10 seconds in. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this is coming through okay. I just got a very odd message and it threw me out. So anyway, I will press on. So good morning, take two. It's Sanae, Floyd here, business breakthrough coach and sales mentor. And I wanted to come in here today and talk to you about what's really going on when you feel like you've hit a wall, when you feel like your business has, whether you or your business has hit a wall, things aren't progressing, you feel like you're stagnating. And there are always going to be times in your business journey where you're going to experience this, where you're going to experience some emotional struggle, and it may seem like unwittingly or out of the blue, your this progress you were making comes to a grinding and quite depressing halt, and you don't know why, you don't know what to do with it. And very often I see, from my own experience, I see like people that get to this point may desperately start backpedaling, trying to figure out what was I, what's causing this kind of slamming on the brakes, like why has everything stopped working? And often, you might find that you beat yourself up for not being able to be consistent, not being able to follow through on your goals. And so it all kind of gets very noisy in there. And, and I've seen all sorts of, hues of the struggle, shall we say, not only from sort of my own personal experience, but because many of my clients tend to come to me when they feel like they've tried everything, they've hit that wall, they've hit this invisible ceiling on their business growth, their income growth, and they don't know why. They don't know why things have stopped working. Well, they've been doing all the do, but what they've been doing isn't working and they don't know why. So I want to talk to you about what potentially is going on. And I've come up with, I've just sort of found 3 core reasons why your business may feel like it's hit a wall, why you feel like you're stagnating. And there are 3 core reasons. And I've called the 3, I'll tell you what I've called them first of all. So the first thing is the plateau. The second one is the dark night of the soul. And the third one is the Uplevel Ledge. So I'm going to kind of talk to you about kind of each one of those, like how to recognize them, and why they're happening, and then what you can do about it, how you can navigate your way through them. And I will add in here that these tend, I would say that they're inevitable. As you don't want to think that, oh God, I'm going to hit these roadblocks, I'm going to hit like painful moments, or I'm going to experience struggle in my business. But I would say that they are inevitable because they are kind of part of the growth journey. They are part of the trajectory of getting to your next upper level. And the key here is really knowing, well, what's going on so that you can navigate through them gracefully instead of fighting them and resisting them, and not knowing what the hell's going on, and it feels awful, and so you put up a fight, and you tend to stay there a bit longer when you do that. So I say they are inevitable. As I said, they are part of the growth journey, but they're inevitable because when you are in your business really is a growth journey. It really is a personal development journey, because in order to do the things you've never done before, in order to increase the income to income levels you've never earned before, maybe you're exceeding the income levels of your family, you're showing up in new ways. All of these things have to push you to outside of your old comfort zone, push you beyond your present paradigm. You have to like change your identity, in so many ways. And, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, if you want to create a new personal reality, you need to create a new personality. And in order to do that, you need to shed layers of your old beliefs that have kept you kind of in your old identity, and that you've learned to sort of, that feels safe because it's familiar, but it's really limiting. So I would say that, going through these these 3 stages, whether it's the plateau, the dark night of the soul, or the up-level ledge, going through them is inevitable. But when you understand where you are at, as I said again, you can navigate them gracefully. So let's break this down. The first one is the plateau. Now, the symptoms of the plateau is that you will have been through a period of massive learning, high energy, high enthusiasm. You've really been having a great time in your business. Like your growth has been like that really upward journey. And then suddenly you lose momentum. Suddenly and without warning, you start to feel overwhelmed, you feel scattered, you can't get back into action, and everything feels like you're wading through treacle. So that's the plateau where you're like, whoa, 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 really having a great time. And then something slams on the brakes and all of a sudden you're in overwhelm, you feel scattered and you can't seem to kind of get yourself into action. So what is going on with the plateau? Well, the plateau is simply a sign that your mind and your body have consumed so much new information that it needs time to integrate. So the best analogy is, if you're pouring water into a glass and that glass is getting fuller and fuller and then it starts overflowing, it can't take any more water. And so this is like you with all that new learning as you've been growing and taking in all this information, and it's been incredible and you've been really enthused about all this learning. But there has to come a point where you stop, and all that information coming in and overflowing is the reason why you're struggling to focus, you're struggling to concentrate, and you're struggling to move forward in the way that you were. So that's the plateau. So how to navigate it? Well, this is where you stop consuming for the time being and you start creating. So even if it's just baby steps, it's important during the plateau just to keep taking consistent action. Implement what you have learned until it embeds. Stop learning and start implementing. And what the reason you need to do this, it's like, George Leonard talks about the plateau in his book Mastery. You've got to allow everything you've learned to imbue into you at a cellular level. Like it can't just be theoretical information. You need to apply it so that then it becomes who you are. You kind of embody it and it becomes knowing. So it comes from just theoretical information, you apply it, and then it becomes knowing. So that's the plateau. In time, as you start to master your current level, then you're ready to kind of hit the next level of trajectory again, and you're on your way. So really embrace the plateau as being a period where all that information you've taken in is just imbuing and imbibing, and it's becoming you. So, but just take small actions to implement. Okay, the next I call these gatekeepers of growth, but the next growth stage is the dark night of the soul. Now, what are the symptoms of the dark night of the soul? It sucks. It feels absolutely awful. And the dark night of the soul, what tends to happen is you've emerged, you've been through a growth process. Maybe you've been on a retreat, a healing retreat. You've been through some deep dive work, inner work. You've raised your awareness. There's a really a real beautiful depth of experience that you've been through. And as you come out of that, you might enter a period of time where you feel like, what's going on? I feel weepy. I feel lost. I feel depressed. And you might start being pulled into being tempted to engage in old and unhealthy coping mechanisms, things you may have used to have engaged in. You may start overeating or being tempted to drink alcohol too much, or you might start engaging in, old toxic relationships again. And so there's a risk that you start to get drawn back into old unhealthy coping mechanisms, and it's really confusing. It feels miserable. So what is going on with the dark night of the soul? Well, this period of the growth signifies that in-between phase between the old and the new. So you've just had this incredible deep healing, this raising awareness, this expansion of consciousness. You've shed some layers of an old identity. And due to that deep healing work, you've come out the other side of it, but you've not yet emerged into the new identity. You've not yet kind of stepped up into that new identity. So this dark night of the soul is like the no man's land in between. It's really intense and it feels really dark. But the beauty of this is that when you emerge, it feels incredible. It's so beautiful. It really does feel like you're stepping out back into the light, and your life takes on a whole new shine, a whole new kind of richness and intensity and beauty, because you've done this work and you've navigated the dark night of the soul. And so how to navigate this phase? Well, the thing I would say to you, if this is how you feel, is a lot of self-love, a lot of sleep and self-compassion. You can't do much else. You can't do much else in this period of time, but just give yourself all the love you can. And the thing is, I think when you know this is what's happening, that you're in this no man's land between kind of all that deep growth and the next level, you stop fighting it, you stop resisting it. And the final thing I would say about when you're in this phase, avoid making major life decisions, because it may be that old identity, just your old ego trying to reassert itself. And so you think it makes sense, but it's really no longer what you want or who you really are. So avoid making major decisions, lots of self-love, lots of compassion, and lots of sleep in the dark night of the soul phase. Okay, so the third growth sort of phase is what I call the Uplevel Ledge. So the Uplevel Ledge, the symptoms of the Uplevel Ledge, well, this phase is really frustrating, and it can last for months and sometimes years. It really can. And so the Uplevel Ledge, the symptoms are that you feel like you're stagnating. You feel like you're playing small. You feel like you're swimming in this, like this. I remember I used to say, I feel like I'm swimming in the same shallow water and I'm just not progressing. And maybe, there's been little bursts of like success, like almost like a one-hit wonder experience, but then you kind of settle back to this stage where everything feels comfortable and you're producing mediocre results. You want more, but your results are kind of mediocre. And you just don't know what to do in this phase. Like you feel like everything you've tried hasn't worked. It hasn't worked at least for any length of time. And this is, as I said, there's like these one-hit wonders. There's noticeable highlights in when you look back over the past year or 2 years or 3 years or however long, but nothing that you've managed to kind of maintain and build upon. So it just feels like this real kind of stagnation phase. So what's going on? Well, the Uplevel Ledge signifies your new normal comfort zone, and it's a dangerous place to be because it feels it's kind of akin to complacency. And when I think about, when I've been in this phase in the Uplevel Ledge, having experienced some success, you kind of feel like you've made it and it feels great. Oh yes, I've made it. But then you might hit some kind of rocks in the road, not recognizing what they are. And so it knocks your confidence. And so you're probably in a place where you're playing it safe. That's the best way to describe it. You're coasting, you're playing it safe. Maybe you've even lost some trust in the coaching world, because you've invested so much in courses and different coaching programs that have got you so far, but not to where you hoped you would be. And so there's and I call this learned helplessness. I remember hearing this phrase from Tony Robbins, this where you've had one too many disappointments, and so it kind of keeps you in this place where you've actually lost trust, and there's some fear here, and so you're just in that treading water, playing it safe, but it feels like shit because you're here to grow. You're here for so much more. So how to navigate the Uplevel Ledge? One word, leap. You've got to leap. That's it. When you're in the up level ledge, what's basically happening is you are clinging to some false sense of safety, and it's keeping you small, it's keeping you scared, and yet you're stagnating and you hate it. So you have to take the leap. You have to take the leap. Get off the up level ledge. It's a call. It's telling you you've outgrown your current modus operandi. You've outgrown the current way of doing things. So you need to let go of the ledge, and you need to leap. So what does leap mean? What does that look like? Well, it's doing the thing that you are most afraid of doing right now. You've got to go ahead. You've got to bum rush your fears, quite literally. And when you can do that, when you do the thing that frightens you the most right now, you jolt your subconscious. So it wakes the hell up, and it gets you out of this kind of this stagnant phase. So whatever it means for you, whatever level you're at in your journey, letting go of the ledge might mean making the next level investment in your business. And that scares you. It might mean actually breaking free of a toxic relationship that's not serving you, and yet you've been people pleasing or teetering or just staying there because you're scared. But it might mean that now's the time you've got to take the leap. It might mean simply finding an accountant and sorting your finances out. That might be the thing you are avoiding. But that might just be the thing you need to do that will just break you out of this stagnation. It might be hiring help in your business. It might be, if you're really at the early stages of your business, it might be just getting out there and going live consistently, whatever it is. So I don't know what it is for you, but it's the thing that will get you moving out of that stagnation, back into your enthusiasm, back into your passion, and back into your next level of growth. So guys, I hope you found this helpful, but this is so important to understand these levels that you will hit up against, whether they feel like a crushing halt, where all of a sudden you can't take it anymore, you're in extreme overwhelm, that's the plateau. Or whether you're in that really horrendous, painful, weepy phase, that's the dark night of the soul, where you're in between, in that no man's land between the old identity and the new level identity. Or you're at the up level ledge, which is where you stagnate, you're in a comfort zone, and that's providing you a false sense of safety, and it hurts like hell. It's painful. You don't want to be there because you want to grow. So that's when you need to leap. So those three are kind of key phases to really be aware of and identify when you're there, so that you can navigate them with more grace and ease. Okay, guys, so I hope you found this useful, helpful. If you've got questions, comments, as always, put them below. I love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me, and I will see you all again soon. Okay, guys, bye for now.